This is Reed Lowe, the one-man show, and you're listening to the Sheriff Podcast.
Everybody to an exclusive edition of the Sheriff. Guys, today I am actually blessed to have the first Ice Warrior announced for the ICEWARS International, which is coming up this May 21st in Enoch, Alberta at the River Cree Resort and Casino. Ladies and gentlemen, he hails from Maple Ridge, BC at 6'1", 225 pounds. Could be more now. We'll find out when the event starts. He earned the title of the toughest pound for pound player award in the famous CHL. He is the PJHL all-time PIMS leader. In 2012, he would accumulate 40 fighting majors, ladies and gentlemen, in 43 games. My guest today has a message for the entire world. Ladies and gentlemen, he says the crown has already been won. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Daniel Amesbury, aka Diamond Hands. How are you doing today, my friend?
Fantastic. Thanks for the intro.
No problem, buddy. As you could tell, I'm fired up, bro, because dude, we both technically found out pretty recently that we were part of this event, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And Daniel, I know, okay, first of all, what do you want me to call you, brother? You want Diamond Hands? You want Daniel Ames? What do you want?
Doesn't matter. Honestly, I'm cool with whatever. You call me whatever you want. Daniel, Ames,
all right,
whatever.
I'll probably switch it up as we go on,
whatever.
Right?
It's all good, man.
Mix it up a little bit. I could tell from the moment that we first talked before the recording, bro, that you're a very passionate and exciting person, right? That you're very emotional. Yeah. I find that most of warriors in combat sports have that trait.
Yeah.
We're very emotional.
Yeah.
We are extremely passionate. Maybe sometimes it might even get us in trouble in our lives because we're so extreme with it, right?
Yeah.
But it's also why most people love us, most people can count on us, and that most people believe in us because of those traits as well. So, bro, I want to get into it right off the hop. You had an incredible career, but we're going to talk some Ice Wars right now. We're going to get right into it, okay? So we were talking a little bit before the recording, and you were mentioning that as soon as you found out about this thing, you called right away. You gave AJ a call. Tell the listeners exactly like how you found out about this and what your first reaction to it was.
Yeah, so it's actually funny. I actually was talking to my buddy before I even knew about Ice Wars or heard anything about it. I had said something to my buddy a few months before, like because I'm kind of in the middle of this transition, like trying to find my passion. Like, how do I monetize my passion? Like, what really is it? How do I get back into the game? Really, right? And I was talking to my buddy. I was like, man, I got this unique skill of being able to fight in sports, hockey and lacrosse. It's really too bad there isn't some sort of league or something I could challenge myself in. And I had said this maybe like 3 or 4 months earlier. And then I get tagged in one of AJ's posts that it was like a live video of him saying that he might be putting on this event, blah, 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 Ice Wars. And it's a fighting tournament on ice. Right away, I couldn't believe it. So I messaged AJ right away. I'm like, hey dude, like this is who I am. Just keep me in mind. Like if this progresses and this becomes more of a reality, then I want to be a part of it if I can. Like, here's my resume. I'm around and, like whatever I can do to be a part of this, on or off the ice, let me know. Like, this is what's up. Like, I'm down with this shit. So yeah, it's kind of how it started for me. And ever since then, even before I signed the contract, I was kind of preparing in case I could get that contract. So
right on. So what I'm skimming through here is the actual like description of the tournament, right? And like, I just want the listeners to understand, guys, this is UFC pretty much on ice. Now, there takes a lot of skill, a lot of guts, and you got to have a lot of glory in your system to be able to participate in something like this. Now, pretty much the description that I believe Charlie and AJ probably approved is that Fight TV and Hockey Enforcers USA, a live sporting events production company, got an agreement to stream ICEWARS International first event in pay-per-view. ICEWARS is a new combat sport that can be described as prize fighting on ice. It's about taking an age-old part of the game many fans love and making it the main event. This is how the promoters want it to be known as, and this is what I believe best describes it, right? So now, Daniel, as I'm saying this, how are you feeling, bro?
I'm just excited, man. That's like literally
the
only emotion I've felt since the second I signed that contract is like pure excitement. I've never actually, I know, like you have experience. I've seen a lot of your fights on YouTube and stuff. Like you've been there, done that as far as this job as an enforcer. And so like, I'm sure you know as much as I know, like sometimes you get those emotions you don't want to feel that'll kind of creep in every once in a while. Maybe the night before, maybe it's a week before, but every once in a while you might think something a little negative or like something might creep in that you don't want there. I haven't had that yet, man. Like I've just been purely excited. My preparation is like on another level right now. So I think that kind of helps with my mental state, but I'm just purely excited. Every day I wake up, I'm smiling ear to ear. I'm in the gym working way harder. I'm just passionate, man. Like I'm fired up. I've never felt this way on a consistent basis for this long. So it's really good, man. I'm excited.
I'm probably assuming that the reason why AJ and those guys decided to have you be the first fighter announced is for these reasons, bro. It was probably just off the charts when they were going over the names, and AJ's like, okay, let's talk about Amesbury. And they're like, okay, what are his strengths? What are his weaknesses, if any? What are this? What are that? AJ's probably like, yo, this guy's so passionate about this. He's so excited. I'm trying to talk like AJ too. We gotta have him. We gotta have him, guys. We gotta have him, right? Like that's probably what he's saying, right? Yeah. So, man. And I agree, man. And I agree. So now, bro, listen, man, right now, we're probably going to release this episode pretty soon. This is a recording, but we're about 17 days away, bro, right? Yeah. Is it 17?
I thought it was 18, but you might be right, 17. Or
at midnight, it might be 17.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, right on. So these days, as you know, as any fighter knows, because it's the same mentality as every combat sport has the same mentality. Now, you, my friend, you also have quite a skill in lacrosse fighting as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, there's so much hockey stuff that I don't even have lacrosse, but it makes sense. Like in my notes, like for the show, right? Because you know your career was so good. Ice Warriors. It's just like there's so much to talk about with you. But lacrosse isn't even on the list. But I love lacrosse. I lived in Rochester, New York for 4 years, playing for the Amerks AHL team and the Rochester Nighthawks, man.
Yeah.
NLL team. They played in the same arena. Their dressing room was right beside us. Went to the same restaurant, same bars. We were all buddies. It was so awesome, bro.
Yeah.
It was buddies with the tough guy. They had like I don't know how famous these guys were, but there was these brothers called the Grant brothers. Their last name was Grant. And they're from Ontario. They were just the toughest, meanest set of brothers. They played on the team.
John Grant Jr. Was it John Grant Jr. maybe?
Johnny Grant.
Yeah,
Johnny Grant was his name.
I've had some good times with Johnny.
Okay, cool, man.
He was playing for Colorado when I was playing in Denver. So it was the same kind of experience. Yeah.
Okay,
so we went out and partied and had a blast together. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. So you know what I'm saying? So there was him. I remember doing I have pictures of doing like public appearances where we did a joint appearance with the Nighthawks. Cool. There was two Amerks, and John Grant would always come, right? Yeah. So you know what I mean? Like hockey and lacrosse guys are so similar. But like as far as the fighting goes, like, do you think the lacrosse guys are like a little bit tougher in a way just because you can't slip as easy? And
I can honestly say obviously my hockey, like if you look at my hockey resume, like it kind of dropped off when I stopped playing in the States after the Central League and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was pretty much just doing lacrosse for like the last however many years. I would say the thing with lacrosse is it's way more intimidating because you're on your feet. You can punch a lot harder. When you get rocked, you don't necessarily slip and fall down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas in hockey,
Yeah.
if you get rocked, you kind of, it's usually the fight's over if you get rocked.
Yeah.
Whereas in lacrosse, your head just goes down and the guy can hold you up and still dummy you, right? So I find the nerves are a lot heavier in lacrosse. But there's a lot more fighting in hockey, more players to choose from. So I think you get a higher caliber of fighting.
Oh, okay.
But honestly, man, like when you get to the top level guys in lacrosse, like I learned more in the past 5 years playing lacrosse in fighting than I learned in my career with hockey. Like, I think I'm at the point now, like if you look at videos of me, like I was so wet behind the ears still in my fighting stages when you look at my hockey fights and like where I'm at now as far as my grappling and like just all these, like it's cool because these guys are probably, if anybody's studying me, they're going to be watching my hockey fights when I was like so rookie at fighting still, whereas like now
videos on YouTube, you mean, like how they're able to look you up?
Anything that's online is still from so old, you know. You get a couple lacrosse fights or whatever, but the grappling I've learned in lacrosse over the past years, and I learned like Rory Smith, Brandon Smith's brother, I would say he's one of the toughest guys in lacrosse like history, very well known, smaller guy. He coached me all the way through my pro hockey career. He would email me players to study. He would tell me different styles, you know, watch Manuel Franchette, study this style, watch this guy. He'd give me a different guy to study every week and work on their style.
Franchette? I played with Manu. I played with him, bro.
So that's why.
Yeah,
that's why I mentioned it, like the underhook and the grab on the back of the neck that he likes to do, like stuff like that. So he would pick these things apart and break it down to another level that I hadn't seen anybody do. So I had that, and then I kind of just, with lacrosse over the last 5 or 6 years, you know, I've kind of just stepped it up, and I'm at the point now where I've got the experience in lacrosse to the point where, like, with hockey, there's tougher guys, I think, like higher caliber of fighter. But I'm at the point now where I'm like, well, I'll fight anybody on the ice. Like it is where I'm at now. You know what it's like when you get to that point. You're just like, yeah, fuck, who, sure,
who wants it?
Let's do it. Yeah. Like I'm down, man. Like so now I'm finally cracked that point where I'm just like, yeah, let's do it. I'm down for whatever. And I think lacrosse played a big part of it, though, for sure.
100%, man. I'm excited. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm kind of like on the edge of my seat, bro. Just listening to you, right? But yeah, like, I mean, the other thing that we were discussing before the recording is just the fact that, like for the listeners that are more curious about this Ice Wars, you know, Ice Wars in Edmonton, in Enoch, which I'm assuming it's very close to Edmonton.
Yeah, it's like 10 minutes from the West.
Oh, is it that close? Okay.
From the West Edmonton Mall,
Yeah, in Enoch, Alberta. Now, I was saying Enoch. I was saying Enoch before, and I actually had the River Creek Casino and Resort as a like positive criticism.
Yeah.
They said they loved, because it was when I did the recording with Chris Tarian. Okay. And they said they loved the episode. They loved how we were promoting the casino, but just for my information. And the other thing I said was I said the right words, but I didn't say it in the right order. I was saying like River Cree when it's Cree River Resort, or the other way around. Yeah. Whichever way it is, I was saying it the other way.
Backwards. Yeah. Okay.
So I was saying the right words.
I think it's River Cree though, correct?
Yes. I was saying Cree River.
Okay.
Cree River Resort Casino. The correction is the River Cree Resort and Casino. And yeah, I mean, they have to correct me. Like, it's not like, I understand, like they know I'm trying to promote it. They want to make sure it's exactly on point, right? Yeah. So that's like things like that. Like, I'm still new at this thing, right? Like it's only been 1 year since I
think everybody's going to be, it's brand new, right? So there's going to be a lot of learning involved. That's the one thing that I was like actually talking to like one of my coaches with yesterday is like, I've never had something push me this is going to progress this particular trade so much. Like it'll trickle into the game. Like people are going to learn things from fighting this much and this often and in these sort of events. Like I've been doing so much grappling over the past few weeks with UFC fighters and MMA guys, and I've been learning things like, man, how did I not know this? Like, how have I been doing this thinking I'm good at it without knowing this one little tool that's going to just take my thing to the next level? And that'll be something I'll be able to share down the road. And it's just everybody's going to be learning these little things, and it's going to progress just like MMA progressed into its own entity, its own sport. Now it's kind of like, it's just getting to another level. I think this is going to do the same thing for everyone, man. It's going to be it's going to be cool, man. I'm excited.
Now, this is why I agree with you 100%. I tried to get into this with Chris. I got into it with a couple people, like, since ICEWARS was announced. And so what I was saying is, I believe, same thing that you just said, that this type of event is not only going to popularize what everybody loves, it's just that so many things are censored now, Daniel. It's different because societies have changed. Our society has changed. What would happen, like, about 30 years ago? What would happen? And like, this is like, I'm not trying to be controversial, nothing like that. I'm trying to explain how the cultures have changed in North America. If a parent smacked their kid 30 years ago, nothing would happen, normal. Right? Yeah. It's normal. Yeah. 2022, if a parent smacks their kid, CIS is going to be called, and you might spend a night in jail.
Yeah, at least, right?
Right? So things have changed, man.
Yeah.
And I believe in sports, things are so sensitive now that, I mean, can you imagine with the 24-hour sports cycle, news cycle, like them showing like NHL brawls every 10 minutes, every day, like how they show the highlights? Yeah. They just wouldn't be able to do that, I don't think, right now, because of the way society.
Honestly, it's kind of at the end of the day, the world's kind of going soft.
Of course.
This could be something like this could be really good for the game, I think, in general, and just getting people back in. If people see it starting to grow and there's a lot of eyes on it, then teams are going to start to want to use it to promote. And next thing you know, man, hopefully maybe it could help the game get a little bit tougher again.
It's definitely going to help the game. I have a couple of questions for you. When you were playing in the CHL, in the SPHL, when you were doing your thing, playing professional in the States, obviously you were the man for the team that you played for. You were the guy, everyone on your team knew Diamond Hands is going to take care of it. What? You want fucking talk to him, bro? Like, you're the guy, right? Yeah. You're the guy, right? Now, you being the guy, on most teams, you were by yourself, correct? Like most seasons, or were you on? Did you just happen to be on teams where there would be like another guy?
I got lucky. I spent like half a season with a couple other guys that could go, but I was still always the designated top guy.
Okay, fair enough.
Most of the time, completely by myself.
Yeah. Okay. So, but a couple times there was another guy that could chuck them too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay. So you're mostly by yourself, but maybe half the time, a little bit less, there was two of you. Yeah. So now, on every team, there's two goalies, right?
Yeah.
On every team, I'm going to talk about the type of coaching that there is in pro hockey. There's the power play coaches, special teams. Sometimes there was a face-off coach when I was at the AHL level. There'd be penalty killing. There was strength and conditioning coaches, probably about 3, sometimes 4 associate coaches. Then there was the head coach. There was a goaltending coach that the Sabres would bring, and work with the goalies and stuff. But you know who there wasn't a coach for, Daniel?
Yeah.
For us.
Us, yeah, exactly.
There was and it wouldn't even have to have a coach title. Yeah. But if you think about it, in the NHL, all the way up until about 10, 12 years ago, let's say 2010, I'm talking the Buffalo Sabres because that's who I have the most knowledge of. The Buffalo Sabres had 2 tough guys all the way up to 2010 when Eric Bolton and Andrew Peters, like when that broke up, that little pairing, and like Bolts went to New Jersey or wherever he went, then that changed and it was only 1 and then now 0, of course, right? Because half the teams don't even have a guy, right? So I would discuss with these NHL players, what would have happened if there was a guy that was paid by the team to overlook the guys that get more than 5 majors a season, like however it would qualify to be a guy.
Or even just giving that skill to some of the players, like some of the goal scorer, like it's a good skill for everybody to have, but definitely, I think that would definitely help the team, no questions.
Do you think that if the NHL had an insurance where once you reach 5 majors, You were now covered by a special insurance because your body's being now at a higher rate exposed than your teammate.
Yeah.
If those things were in place, an insurance for guys that do it enough,
Yeah.
someone to overlook. What if a guy's getting knocked out every time? Like you hear stories about Rocky Thompson fighting with concussions and all this kind of stuff. What if there was a guy that was so close because he was the coach of guys that threw down that he knew what was going on? And he could go to the GM and say, look, Daniel has fought the last 2 nights with a concussion. We have to sit him.
Give him a break.
We got to trade him. We got to do something. We can't allow this to happen anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
There was no one overlooking us, bro.
No.
We were just thrown out to the wolves because we're tough.
Take care of yourself.
They're tough. They can handle it. But what's going on now? All these fucking sorry, we're gonna have to edit that out. All these lawsuits, players suing the NHL, all these guys on the list. Like it's crazy. And then so what they did was they tried to tone it out without any insurance, nothing. And now the ratings are at an all-time low.
Yeah. I know, it's really too bad, man. Obviously, there is guys that are suffering, but like at the end of the day, that's really where the issue came from. All these lawsuits, it's, they say it's player protection. It's not player protection. It's wallet protection. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like they can say it's player protection all day, but they didn't care about the players until their wallet got hit with the lawsuits. So
of course,
I think it'd be great to be able to implement some, like the insurance idea is fantastic, man. And like have someone that has a relationship with them, that's coaching them, maybe maybe can keep on the helmet thing where if the helmets pop off, you can kind of jump in. I don't know, kind of be a little bit more careful with that, I guess, or at least watch if guys getting a little like, if there looks like a guy might go down. I don't know what you could do in that case, but definitely would be good for the game, man. People want to see it. And just as much as I do, it's so much more to it than just putting on a show, man. It's like the energy shift that you get from it, then how much better all your players get to play. How many concussions does Crosby have?
How many
concussions does Crosby have?
Oh, I know.
He's got a handful of concussions.
Yeah.
How many? I don't think Gretzky had a single concussion. I don't know for sure, but I don't think anybody hit that guy in the head. You know what I mean? So so what do you want? Do you want a guy like Sidney Crosby getting concussions, or do you want a guy like me or you getting concussions and then maybe we pull him out and give him a break or whatever? At least watch him over. But at least it's your $500,000 guy that's maybe taking that shot on the chin. Then you're fucking 15 million. So pardon my French.
No, that's
okay. $10 million guy, right?
I just try not to swear. The guests can do whatever they want. Yeah, no, I hear you, bro. And you know what? That's such a good point. I've never heard that one before.
Yeah.
I've never heard that comparison with Crosby's concussion problem to the great one.
Yeah.
And I never heard of Wayne having
nobody touched him. No one touched him.
Cement head Semenko or McSorley would take their head off.
Yeah,
right?
You're done. Like everybody knew that. Whereas like Crosby has never had anybody, the guy here and there it's been in. I don't know, but he's never had somebody consistently watching over him.
But even that guy. Yeah, and sorry, Daniel, go ahead. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, he's on his own. Like he's never really had somebody. Like people don't worry. Like if Crosby's cutting through the middle with his head down, and I'm on the other team, and I'm whoever it is. Like let's say a guy like Sean Avery, even Sean Avery will take his head off.
Oh yeah.
But if he's got a guy like whatever, a legit heavy, he might think twice before he takes that run. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So dude, this is great because you were obviously the first fighter that was announced for the first event. We're already getting into what we believe the impact that this is going to have on the game at the junior and the pro level. Yeah. Now, the reason why I think our argument is so strong is because like we were discussing before the recording, my man, that this is just the first event.
Yeah.
Right? This is just the first event. When they tried to do these things before, it was just a one-hit wonder. But the vision that AJ has is different. Now, to be honest with you, I haven't really heard too much about, the second and third event, but I did hear a rumor that it was Montreal and Toronto. Cool. Like the next couple ones, that's the rumor that's going on between the broadcast team guys and whatnot. So, dude, like, this is like, I think it's unlimited potential. You
Totally.
got guys with your character, with your hunger. You know, we're going to be building up all the characters. With you, it's going to be so easy, right?
Yeah.
But we're going to build you up, bro. And we're going to let the listeners really know who these participants are. Look how much hype there is when, like, Floyd Mayweather fought McGregor. Do you remember all those promotions they tried to do to build the characters?
Yeah. That's like a part of the game, man. The fight game's changing too, right? Like in general. And like you even see it in the UFC, man. The UFC's got a lot more entertainment behind just the fighting now. Because they know, like, you gotta do it where's the money at? The money's at promotion. You know, the best fighter, honestly, the fighters that end up at the top are the fighters that lean into that as well. And they do those things, like as crazy as it sounds. McGregor, you're going to get that fight way quicker than if you're just some like chill dude that's just, you know, not really exciting. You're tough, but you're not, you know, whatever. Fun to watch in the ring, but not super exciting at the weigh-in. When you get a guy that's like, saying chirps or whatever it is,
big
man.
Personality.
Like, I'm watching, you know, even especially if it's a guy that I hate. You know, like I used to hate McGregor. I don't mind him now. Like I'm not huge McGregor fan, but I like him, like watching him now. Whereas when I first seen him, I'm like, fuck this guy, man. Like, who the hell acts like that? How disrespectful. But then when I realized the game and I realized what he's doing, I respect it.
So you appreciate it now. You're all into it, right?
Now that I know what he's doing, you know what I mean? At first, I thought he was just a disrespectful dude, right?
The UFC loves that he's doing this.
I realized what he did for the sport and what he was really doing for his career and his promotion, and then I respected it. You know, it wasn't like I don't think maybe that's his characteristics to just act like that on the street. You know?
Yeah. Now,
maybe.
Have you ever fought any of the guys that they've announced to this point?
Yeah, I fought Sawyer twice in the Central League.
Okay, so how long ago was that? That was like around 2010, 2012-ish?
Yeah, I think 2012 possibly. So
Right on.
Sawyer's a good guy. Like I was talking to him up until kind of we both signed, and then we haven't really talked since. But I'd call him a friend of mine for sure. He came out. I don't know if I guess. About 4 years ago, he was in Vancouver, and I went and seen him, had a bite to eat and stuff with him and with our ladies and stuff. So,
right on.
So he's a good dude. I think he'll be fun. I'm excited, man. Like, I don't care who's. I think there's one spot maybe that I haven't seen yet. There's like maybe one or two guys that haven't been filled, or maybe they haven't announced yet.
I believe that I don't know if it's 5 or 6. It hasn't been more than 6 though. I think they still have to announce 7. Yeah, I think they have 6 announced right now.
Okay,
I think 7 and 8 still need to be announced.
Cool, yeah. So I'm excited. I honestly, like I'm prepared for anybody at this point. Not at all worried, and it's exciting, man. I'm like my preparations. Like I said, it's already the game for me is progressing in such a fast rate through my boxing and my the MMA. The grappling stuff is where I'm really seeing some cool stuff happening as far as like what I'm learning.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
It's going to be exciting.
So who are you training with right now?
I train. So Rob Della Penna is my boxing coach. I pretty much just do like straight boxing with him. And then over the past few weeks, I've been training with Caleb Starnes.
Okay.
So he was on the Ultimate Fighter. He fought in the UFC, super high level MMA guy.
I know the name for sure.
Yeah, so I've been training with them.
Do you have amateur boxing matches under your belt?
No, I don't.
Okay,
no.
But have you sparred with another fighter in the ring?
Yeah, I do lots of, we're sparring and stuff like that, and getting reps in, doing some grappling on the ice. Actually, been lucky enough to do grappling on the synthetic as well.
Really?
So it's been good. Yeah.
So now, the reason why I ask those questions, Daniel, because obviously you're a combat guy, man. You're fighting professionally in lacrosse. You're fighting professionally in hockey. You've gotten in the ring for boxing. Now, the reason why I say it like that is because, dude, I don't know if you knew about this, but back in the day, the LNAH used to have boxing galas. Not the LNAH, but they would have galas in Quebec where it'd be like 10 boxing matches, but 5 of them would be hockey player against hockey player, popular names in the LNAH. Now, I did it. I had 2 fights My first fight was against Chris Cloutier, the guy that's on Laval right now. Or sorry, he was on Laval. He's on the Marquis de Jonquière.
Yeah, still playing that.
Yeah, he's still playing, bro. He's an 83, I think. So he's a dinosaur still playing. And he had more boxing experience, but I had a lot of confidence. It was my first ever fight, and I beat him, right?
Nice.
My second fight, I made a big mistake. Okay, I agreed to be in the main event, and it was against the animal Joel Theriault.
Okay.
Joel Theriault, and he's has 100 fights on his record, and
actual
boxing fights. Yeah, because you know that Quebec is different than the rest of Canada, bro. When it comes to combat sports, and when we have the events in Montreal or wherever it's going to be, everyone will see that. I bet you that once we have the first event in the province of Quebec, that there'll end up being another one and then another one. They'll probably end up doing every city in the province of Quebec, dude. Because when it comes to boxing, when it comes to MMA, George St. Pierre, that guy's more popular in Montreal than any of the Montreal Canadiens, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
He's like a god. They love their boxing.
Yeah.
The Montreal casinos, every Friday night, there's big boxing. Bro, anybody that's seen any documentaries for that Rizzuto family that was in Montreal, that organized crime that they say is bigger than any of the American families, bro, all that guy did was go to boxing matches with the big cigars, and love all that stuff there, bro. I can't wait for you to come to Quebec, bro.
Yeah, man.
I can't wait for Quebec to see Amesbury, bro, and the passion. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, dude. So, I'm really, really fired up. So now, again, the reason why I said this, see how I can sidetrack. The reason why I was saying that is because there's a difference between boxing training and actually sparring. Now, it might have been different for you because you're already a professional fighter, but taking it as a student of the game for boxing, because I know that's how you were looking at it, because you always want to improve. I know your type of personality, bro. I can see it. You want to improve in everything. You want to be the best you can be. So you're a student of the game. And when you started boxing, it was no different. Did you notice the difference between the training and the first time you actually got into the ring?
Yeah, it was just humbling, man. I think boxing in general is one of the most humbling things for me, because I thought I was a fighter for all these years. And then I was like, oh yeah, I'll go to boxing. And I had boxed once here, once there. And then all of a sudden when I started really training with people and going to these classes here and there, it was fuck, man. I thought I was a fighter. I'm look at these punches I'm throwing. I'm such a goon, man. I'm not even throwing proper punches. And then you learn more. And then when you get into sparring, then it gets a little bit more real, because now these guys are changing their angles, and you're trying not to, you're thinking so much. Whereas when you're in a comfortable place, like fighting in hockey or lacrosse, somewhere you have experience, you've already created those neurological pathways. You don't have to think. You can just be calm and control yourself. But when you're going into this new sport, you're creating new neurological pathways. So you're consistently having to think when this guy you're sparring is just going through the motions and he's just reacting when you're thinking, and it gets kind of overwhelming. I was surprised by the amount of brain power it took, honestly.
Yeah. So that it takes the mental toughness to a whole other level though, Daniel? Yeah, dude. And I guess for the listeners, the best comparison that I find for this type of thing is the closest thing I can get it to is if there's a bench clearing brawl, Daniel, okay? Yeah. So a bench clearing brawl, and all the players on both teams, the NHL in the 70s, the LNAH a couple times a year, there'll be a brawl. Now, if you're going to decide to drop your gloves and fight a guy in a bench clearing brawl, that's a different type of mindset than during the game when there's two linesmen right there to break it up. Yeah. Unless you're the guys that the linesmen are right beside when the brawl starts, no one's coming to help you.
No, it's over.
Nobody.
It's there's no ending to the fight. Yeah.
No one's coming to help you. No one's going to stop him if you fall and he just keeps going, right? So you know that. People know that. Yeah. And so when I see video of brawls, I look at it completely different. I'm seeing guys are just going on it, and they're in the middle. I'm bro, these guys are willing to almost fight to the death here.
Yeah, exactly.
No one's breaking up unless a teammate comes and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know, bro. And so my point is, when you stepped into the ring, it took a whole other level of guts, bro. I know you felt it. I felt it when I did it.
Yeah.
A whole other level of a mindset. You're in the ring. It's just you against him in a ring.
Yeah.
In a ring, like the gladiator days, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. You know that. I mean, like, that's another thing that I'm kind of expecting. I actually went to some fights the other week, some MMA fights out here. They're like a UFC fight pass, the BFL or whatever. My MMA coach, one of his fighters was defending the title for, I don't know what division, but he defended it 5 times. So he had to defend it the 6th time, all by knockout, all his defenses.
Really?
But I wanted to go to, like, feel the crowd, watch the guys on their walkout. Cause I know that's the one thing that I'm like, it's a question mark for me, cause I haven't done that yet. I've done it all. I've fought, I've sparred, I've been in like line brawls and lacrosse and hockey, and I've been in situations where I've been uncomfortable, but I've never walked out to a crowd staring at me. So I actually went a couple of weeks ago to kind of just feel it and see what kind of watch the fighters in the eyes, make eye contact with them, see how they're holding themselves, and with the guys that are winning, maybe they're doing something different. And so I actually went and did that the other day, because that's one thing that I think is a little bit different. And just like you're saying, you're going into a war now, and it's just you. That's just you and this other guy getting locked in a cage. It's a little bit different, right?
It's a lot different.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like, I mean, I know that from what I heard, it's 2 1-minute rounds.
2 1-minute rounds. Yeah. With a 45-second rest in between.
With a 45-second rest in between.
Yeah.
So I guess it would just be I'm just trying to curious of how it's not 3 rounds to be. So
they said that if they need a 3rd round, they'll just do a 3rd round.
Oh, so there will be 3 rounds. There will be for some.
2 1-minute rounds, and if there's no decision within those 2 1-minute rounds, then there's an overtime basically.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. That's cool.
And I don't know for sure, but I remember hearing something that AJ, I think it's pretty cool, but he was saying, like, when they call it a draw, it's just on right there. Like, I don't think it's like, go back to your corners, we're going to square up. Like, when they call it a draw, it's just scrap right now. Like, just as soon as they fucking say it's a draw, get to it right there. That's what I heard. So it'd be interesting to know if that's actually the case. But yeah, either way, I've been preparing for 1 minute on, 45 seconds rest. So I'm ready to go. Okay. I'm good to go full sprint for 1 minute. I can pretty much do 6 rounds back to back. So I hope these guys got the cardio to go with me, because I'm going to be down. I'm rolling, man. I'm not stopping. So
I love it, buddy.
Yeah.
Now the other thing that I was hearing is about the gloves. When I was in Finland at Ice Warriors, we wore UFC gloves actually.
Yeah.
I think it's the same for our Ice Warriors.
I heard it's MMA gloves. Yeah. So the fingers should be good and stuff like that. So
and to be honest, bro, like, because we're all hockey guys, right? Like, it's kind of better in a way, man, because the glove
a little bit harder, a little bit more reckless. You can throw a bit more reckless.
Yeah, and then you can still grab, like when you're grabbing, and you can still do that because your fingers are coming out. It just has like the little thing here and then a thing that goes across. And it's cool because you're not afraid to really, you're not afraid to break your head, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. You're not afraid. You can really throw it overhand right off the bat and if you hit the guy's helmet, you're not because you honestly, when the guy's helmet's on, you're a little bit more timid to throw like an absolute bomb, right? When it pops off, you're a little bit more open to it. But even when he doesn't have his helmet on, it's a little bit timid to throw a bomb, because if you hit him on the bare knuckle, if you hit some guy on the side of the head, like, you can easily shatter your hand. Like, you watch those bare knuckle, like the bare knuckle fight league or whatever. It's such a different game, man. Like, those guys aren't. You can't really, it's dangerous to throw giant haymaker, because you throw a giant haymaker, you can just shatter your whole hand. Like, it's kind of dangerous. I think it's better to throw like a nice straight punch. So I think the gloves are good, man. I'm happy about that. And I think it'll end up leading to a better show. There'll be more punches thrown, harder punches.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
for sure, buddy. So now, dude, Daniel Amesbury, Diamond Hands, Maple Ridge, British Columbia. Is that the home birthplace?
Yeah, that's where I grew up. Yeah, that's where I grew up. It's I would call it a little bit more of a blue collar town.
Yeah.
No, like on the outskirts of Vancouver. We're about like 40 minutes from Vancouver, 45 minutes from Vancouver. But yeah, like I went to like a harsh redneck high school, lots of fights. We had way too many people in the school, so it was kind of like tougher. And then the same thing growing up was kind of everybody had their own little gangs, you know, like every high school had their crew, and it was, you know, on the weekend we'd meet up. And dude, swear to God, I've been to like 30 versus 30 brawls where it's just like, hey, we're gonna meet these guys on this day, and then we're gonna roll with our guys, and we just go meet at the park and go 30 versus 30. And like we did that all through high school, man. There was like, it was bizarre that, like, thinking back now, it just sounds absolutely insane. But that was kind of our weekend thing, man. We'd party it up and then go crash the other guys' parties. And then it was all like, whatever. It was fun. We're all friends now. All those people that we were fighting when we were young, all those crews that we didn't have, that we had all these problems with and when we were young, we're all friends now. And then we just laugh about it and stuff. So, but that's kind of how we grew up, man.
Right on. So that part of BC, that part of BC, like, is pretty tough then, dude. You guys think a good time on a Saturday night is brawling 30 on 30.
Yeah, well,
I can tell you,
that's how
it's not like that in Ontario.
I don't know if it's like that. I imagine it's not really like that as much anymore with just like the new culture and stuff. But man, that's what it was about. Like when we were young, like it was funny. Like I was on a bike ride with my buddy the other day up the mountain, and we were just telling these stories. Like he was a little bit older, but he went to Pitt Meadows, and Pitt Meadows had their crew. And then, you know, it was always, we all had our little beefs with each other. It was high school. It was generally high school.
Yeah.
Like,
high school against high school.
Yeah, it was just funny hearing some of these stories, and like I'd tell them some stories, and when you say it now, it just sounds so crazy. You know what I mean? You're like, man, I can't believe we were doing that when we were, you know, it started when we were like 15, and it was just a regular thing. And you know, that I guess that kind of probably played a big part in me having the courage to just go, sure, yeah, I'll do it. I'll take that job, because he kind of. Yeah, so it's pretty. I guess I enjoyed it. It's part of being becoming a male. I think it's a big part of when you're developing. You know, you get in a fight here and there, and you know, it's so. Where everybody's okay now. So
yeah, of course. So I want to talk about your family a little bit, about mom, dad. Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I got a sister. She's 6 years older, 6 years older than me. One sibling, and then my mom and dad still happily married, and so I see them lots. And I have 2 kids with my current partner, and then I got a son with my ex, and happy family.
Right on, buddy. Right on. So what about your pops? Is he a pretty tough dude or what?
Yeah. So my dad was actually a jail guard for 35 years.
Wow.
So he did that. And like, he grew up in East Vancouver, same kind of thing. Like if you heard the story that I was telling about high school, for me, he'll tell you the same stories back then. Like there was the Clark Parkers, and everybody had their parks. You couldn't go through, and they were always fighting on the weekends. So I'd always hear these stories growing up, right? And my dad would tell me these stories about all these fights and stuff. And like, I was always super intrigued, obviously, because I ended up being a fighter myself. But I'd hear these stories, and then as I got a little bit older, I'd kind of be like, oh yeah, maybe. Is that bullshit? Has my dad been bullshitting me all these years? And then I ended up working at Coca-Cola at one point. I think I was like 19 or 20, and a couple of his buddies that he grew up with worked there. So I actually kind of got to like poke at them. And then all of a sudden I started hearing these same stories my dad would tell me about these brawls and my dad getting in these fights. And I was like, oh my God, they're all true. Wow. So he grew up pretty hard down in East Van, and then ended up going to becoming a jail guard. He was a jail guard for 35 years, and he raised me pretty tough, and, you know, like held me accountable when I was, you know, being a shit. And, you know, it's, I have a good relationship with him now, like mega respect for him. I'm happy that I was raised the way I was, because I think it's kind of the end of it's like there's not too many people left like us in today's world. So I hope to pass some of those, I hope to pass some of that on to my kids and have them get a piece of that, because I think it's important. And I think that, It makes you strong-minded, strong, and it carry yourself a certain way. My dad's always been about respect is the biggest thing, you know, like you don't hit guys when they're down. Just the littlest things, the fighter respect, you know, like just, you know, if a guy has a problem, go outside with them and fight him with your hands. You know, you don't do some bullshit sneak attack or hit him with something. You go out, you got a problem, man up.
Yeah.
Ask the guy politely, you want to go outside and handle it? Or do you want to shake hands right now and settle this right here? You know, like just the respectful way. And that's kind of how I was raised. And I still am that way. I'm a little bit more gun shy nowadays because I'm not trying to catch a charge or anything. But
yeah.
But yeah, man, I think that's the way to do it. If you got a problem with someone, I still believe in that. And I'll tell my kids that, man. If you have a problem with somebody and they have a problem with you, and it really is to that point where it's like, hey, man, we got to handle it. And you can go outside and handle it in that way and shake hands after. Some of the people that I have the most respect for in the world are people I put my hands on and have put their hands on me. I'm sure you can say the same thing. Yeah. How many guys have you had this bad blood with on the ice or wherever, and then you battle it out and you just want to hug the guy?
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? It's just like
100%.
mega respect after. You're like, fuck, man, like respect, dude. Shake my hand. Let's go have a beer.
Yeah, dude. And you know what? I'm absolutely loving it because I always like it when my guests are able to give really good insight. You know what I mean? Like some of the listeners are probably like, they can't even believe like the way that we're talking about this, but it's giving them a better understanding of how the warrior thinks because it's a completely different way. Like we're very, very honest. And like you said, when we have problems in our lives, we probably wish that we could settle that every single time when we have a disagreement with, you know, obviously we're talking about all males, but
it's a little different nowadays though, like obviously, right? But like, I mean, like I'm at a point in my life, man, like I just want to spread love and shit, but like straight up, I've got to this point where I'm like, dude, and it's funny because I'm doing this event and like my whole intention behind this event is I want to grow this sport. Number one, like that's the number one thing, man. Like I believe in this. I love it. I've just fallen in love with hockey after like a weird sour ending, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm kind of falling in love with the game. I want to contribute back to the game and give it back something. And so that's one part of it. And then the other part of it is like, I want to help heal other people because I was able to heal myself after drug abuse, drinking, partying, and just being not liking myself for so long. And I want to do that through spreading love and having people understand that, you know, like how powerful self-love is and stuff like that. So it seems kind of crazy. I'm going to try and spread love through fighting, but that's pretty much my intention. And that's what I want to do, man. I want to help people. And if anybody wants to ever reach out to me and ask me a question about, you know, how to get off drugs or how to love yourself more, what you can do, man, reach out. Cause like, I love to share those lessons that I learned along the way because I could have been dead on the path that I was on. And now I was able to save my life and give a life to my family and my kids. And I want everybody to be able to do the same thing. So I think Ice Wars is going to give me more of a platform to do that.
100% it will, bro. And it all starts here. So how would the average person get a hold of you to take you up on that?
Yeah, like honestly, probably Instagram or Facebook. Like I'm not very stingy on those things. Like if anybody messages me on my platforms that I got out there, like I'll give you my number, no questions. If people want to message me, I'm happy to hand out my number if someone wants to give me a call. My Instagram is Ames_2_Bury, BURY. So yeah, if anybody wants to reach out, man, feel free. Like I'm not hard to find. So
awesome, bro. And I appreciate you giving out that information. So the best way would be on Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah, Instagram or Facebook. Yeah, look me up on Facebook. I'm public and stuff on there. I'm public on Instagram. So fire me a message, I'll for sure reply. And then yeah, like I'm happy to help, man. Like I say, I've gone through, like, I guess you could call it a spiritual awakening over the past 3 years. It's really ramped up, and I'm at the point now where I'm in this passion, like love state. Especially Ice Wars has been a huge contribution as well, but now I'm like understanding the power of love because I love what I'm doing now. I wake up every day and I'm so happy, and now all my relationships are getting better. All my things are coming to me, opportunities are landing on my lap, and it's all coming from the love, like me being happy and like all these support that's coming to me, and because people are seeing I'm passionate, and it's like my life has gotten so much better, and I can obviously already can give contribution to ICEWARS, and I haven't even had a fight yet. So,
oh no, trust me, man. The videos that I've seen, man, did I ever get fired up, bro? Who made those videos, man? You made those videos? That was some cool stuff.
Yeah, so I have a friend of mine, Isaac McCarskey, and he was kind of, we were just talking about like this, and I was saying I wanted to build a platform, I want to help people, and then I told him I was going to do this, and he's like, well, let's put some videos together. Like he wanted to send a video away to a film festival anyways. Okay. He's like, perfect, let's work together. And then he put those together. He did that quick, man. Like he did a really great job and got some content. We went to my old hockey dressing room I played junior at. And it was a lot of fun, and he put together some sick media. So
so ladies and gentlemen, I mean, it was a really, really cool video, and obviously to check that video out, they would go to your Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah, I've posted it on Instagram. Yeah.
I didn't know if dude had like a YouTube page that it might be on too. I'll plug that as well if he does.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not on YouTube, but I'll probably post it though. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Post it, bro. Because like I'm telling you, man, like people need to understand, anybody that sponsors events, anybody that wants to be involved, that they're going to do work to try to like get into certain fields, you got to contact the ICEWARS people, because this is such an opportunity, man, for anybody to be a part of this. This is the first event of so many. We're bringing this, like, how did they describe it again? Let me see how they said this, man. You know how they say it. The thing that we admire the most in our game, that we're putting a highlight on, and dude, it's like it's incredible, man. Like it's something that I know the minute that you heard about it, you told me before the recording that you just jumped all over it, right? Here it is, right beside me. ICEWARS is a new combat sport that can be best described as prize fighting on ice. It's about taking an age-old part of the game many fans love and making it the main event, ladies and gentlemen. How exciting is that? Like, it's just, dude, I get, like, do you get shivers and stuff?
Yeah, man. Because I know, like, I see the potential. The thing is, man, like, I think the last time they did these events, it was a little bit before its time. People weren't ready for it yet. It was a little early. The social media wasn't really popping off yet. You know, like now the social media is crazy. Everybody's got their phone. Everybody's looking for the newest clickbait video that's exciting.
Viral stuff.
And the fighting has died down majorly in the sport. So you have a major hunger for it. And not to mention, you got white collar office job Joe Blows watching cage fighting every Saturday. So like, so the culture has changed majorly from when, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, like, UFC was still in earlier stages. Now it's like accepted. Like, remember when UFC started, people were like, that's cage fighting. That's so barbaric. How can you watch that? You're disgusting, this and that. And now all those people that said that are watching. So the same thing is going to happen with ICEWARS. There's going to be a ton of haters, I hope, because that's a good thing. There probably will be. There's going to be a ton of haters. And then all those haters, 5 years down the road, as the sport legitimizes, will be watching. Guaranteed. It's the same thing that happened in UFC. And I see the potential. And like for the sponsors, man, to be able to get your foot in the door with UFC 1, 2, 3, and 4, those ICEWARS will remember you. If you were there from day one, like you'll be there all the way through. Like I've been lucky enough to get support from some awesome companies. If you don't mind, I actually want to shout some of them out. Like,
dude. Yeah, no, this is your show.
Finance. I got Quad Farmers, TMT, Auto, Prim and Proper Spas helped me out. Capilano Indian Band. Like I couldn't be doing what I'm doing without them. And there's more, there's tons more. I could go on. I got a list of like 20 sponsors, man. I've had so much support, and they're giving me the opportunity to come into this event at the highest level possible with my body in the best shape possible so I can win it, create a platform, continue on with ICEWARS and continue helping them. And being early on like that is a huge opportunity for them, and a huge opportunity for anybody that wants to be involved in this sport and get themselves exposed, because this is on pay-per-view in 185 countries, and I guarantee you there's going to be people all over the world watching this, and the arena is going to be sold out. Like, I got probably 50 people just of my friends that are driving from Vancouver to Edmonton to come watch this. So,
really?
and that's, totally. Like, I'm going to have a whole section of people, and that's just from me. So think about all the people that know, or they've told their buddy and they've told their buddy. They're all ordering, man. They've already all ordered it. They're sitting at home. They got a night planned out. They're fired up. They're telling their buddies, and we haven't even really started marketing the actual event yet, like too much anyways, right? Like a little bit, but it's going to start popping off pretty quick here, hard, man.
Wow. Now, do you know the venue? Like we know the name, but have you ever been there? Or
I haven't been there. I have my boxing coach has been to a lot of events there, so he knows about it.
So how big is it? How big is like the arena or whatever they got
all
there?
I know is it holds 1,600. That's pretty much all I know. So it should be pretty loud in there. I imagine they'll sell out, like, no questions. Being in the Edmonton area, like, I'm sure it'll sell out, like, for sure.
It'll sell out.
Yeah, and
so the place will be rocking.
Yeah, it's going to be super loud. Like, you know what it's like when you're in those smaller barns when they're packed. It's just insane. It's better than being in a big one. You know, like, it's when you're in those small, loud barns. It's gonna be fun, man.
It'll be like the House of Pain in Laval. Like, around the same size, you know what I mean? And like, well, a lot of the like minor pro arenas are like that, right? They hold 2,500, 2,000.
Yeah,
right?
And those are the loudest, most exciting places. Keeps all the energy tight, right? You can feel it, like, right down your neck, right?
It's exactly, bro. That's what I was trying to explain to Chris. I was trying to explain to Chris Terrian and Phil that it's a different type of feeling. There's an aura in the air. You can sometimes there's tension where, like, you know, if the two fighters have a history, or, you know what I'm saying? There's so many things, Daniel. You know what I mean?
It's like weird that, like, all your you can feel it in senses you would never, you know what I mean? You feel things that you're like, oh, like, you know what it is, but it's like, it's just so different. And, like, I don't know if I'm sure everybody else feels it, but, like, it's literally something in the air. Just the energy in the room. You can feel the pressure. It feels like heavy, you know?
Yeah.
And it's gonna be,
dude. Oh, man.
I think more than ever at this event, you're going to feel that, because it's not just two guys fighting. There's, like, you know, it's going to be a tournament, man. These guys are all ready to roll. So
it's going to be a tournament with
everybody's huge
characters.
Everybody's huge. I'm probably the smallest guy, I would imagine.
You think so? Like weight wise, you mean?
So I'm 6 foot 222 right now. So I mean, judging by the guys I've looked at, like, Sawyer's 6'6", 285. Yeah. Tippin's 6'2". I don't even know if they announced him, but he's 6'2", 290.
Yeah, they did.
Who else?
Swanson's 260.
Swanson's 260.
Yeah.
So I mean, everybody that I've seen besides me is over 250.
Okay, yeah, you're right. That
I've seen. Right.
So I mean, it is the heavyweight division, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. So
I'm assuming that this one, it's the heavyweight, and then the next one they'll probably, like, have heavyweight and light heavyweight or something, and just try to build it.
Yeah, totally.
That's, like, pretty cool.
I think what's going to happen is, after this first event, there's going to be more fighters looking. Like, there's, like, a lot of guys. Like, I could have been one of them, but I decided, fuck it, I'm doing it. But there's a lot of guys that are watching this, waiting for the next one. I already know that. I could name a couple.
See what it's like.
Yeah, like, what's it about? If it does well, like, you know, like, they're already seeing, like, you know, like, I was talking to my buddy the other day. He's like, really, you're doing that? And I was like, dude, I got major sponsor support. Like, why wouldn't I do it, man? Like, I'm doing something I'm passionate about now. And he's like, oh, you could tell the wheels turned for him. He's like, oh, maybe we'll do the next one, you know? So.
Oh, so this is a fellow hockey warrior.
Yeah. He used to fight. Yeah, I used to fight him, actually. So yeah, I know there's lots of people that got their eyes on it, and they'd be willing to do it maybe on the next one. They're kind of just seeing how this goes. And then, you know, the weight class is another thing too, because you got these guys these are big boys. So, you know, like my one buddy, David Siegel, he's a smaller guy. I think I used to fight him. He was, I think 175 is what he came in at. He's like, man, I'd love to do it, but how the hell, like I gotta have three of the best fights in my life to like, you know what I mean? It was like almost, it was a really crazy goal for him to come do it, fighting in a tournament style against guys that are all over 250 or mostly over 250. But if there's a lower weight class, I know for a fact Siegels will show up and he'll be a entertainer, man, guaranteed, 100%.
Oh yeah, you know, they're definitely gonna have to do the weight classes as this builds, as it gets bigger. It's very exciting stuff, man.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm happy to fight
champ.
I'm happy to fight these big guys though, man. I'm excited about it. Like I'm like I say, I'm just coming as prepared as I can. I hope everybody else is doing the same shit I am, because I want to put on a show like these guys have never seen before. I want to go toe to toe with everybody until somebody drops or until there's blood, like whatever it is, man. I just want to be the most entertaining guy that anybody's ever seen fighting on this ice.
Wow. So, well, I'll tell you what, man. People are going to tune into this now that they're hearing the characters of ICEWARS International, the first one. Man, this is so cool. But listen, I know that we went over the time limit. I'm gonna put you on the spot, Diamond Hands. I'm putting you on the spot. Are you gonna come back on before the 21st? Because I'm gonna need you back on, bro.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, 100%, man. I'll be back. For sure.
I'm telling you right now, the energy level, you know, the emotions, they're skyrocketed. You got me fired up even more than I already am. Hey man, this is my first pay-per-view event too, bro. I'm trying to do my thing as a career. I'm in a very similar boat as you. I'm looking at this as a huge opportunity.
Exactly, yeah.
We're gonna get more opportunities out of it. We're gonna get a lot of traction out of this, bro.
Yeah. This is gonna open doors for everybody, man. Like everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So trust me, bro. I have the same mindset as you, like when it comes to this. And because I did the Ice Warriors in 2010, I really do know what you guys are going through. I really do know what it's like when you're just crying and you have to do one more round. Like, I know this. So I'm so excited, man. And the fact that I get to be a part of it to make it even better event, I'm ecstatic about it. So now you, my friend, you're pumped up. You don't care who you get in the first round. You're just ready to rock.
Yeah, 100%. I'm stoked. I haven't been this stoked. I don't think I've ever been this stoked for something other than my kids being born, man. This is it, dude.
So now, are you gonna have your trainers like in your corner and stuff, man?
Yeah,
are they
my boxing coach will be coming out, Rob Del Pena. And then his buddy is coming out as well. So yeah, I'll have some people. I'm gonna have some gangsters in my corner for sure, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
so
bro.
Rob Del Pena is he was a heavy duty boxer. He fought Gotti. And then who else is coming? For some reason I'm spacing out on the
Well,
other
you said
guys,
you had 50 people coming, right? So
I got a
big
whole
group
section coming. Yeah, it's gonna be a blast, man. It was a little bit, I get my parents to come was a little bit of a tough thing, like you know how it is with that or whatever, I'm sure. Family in general being a little bit worried about what it is. But my dad's gonna come, my mom's gonna come, but she probably won't come in to the event, but we'll see.
Yeah, I understand how that goes, bro. Yeah. I know it's different for the parents of the Warriors, especially when it comes to hockey and lacrosse. It's very difficult for them. Like I'm going to ask you about your parents to do with that because you just brought it up. But at first, buddy, my mom used to cover her eyes, man. But then she realized that, you know, if this is something that I wanted to do and that this is something that was going to help me get to the next level, then the way that she was going to look at it is she was going to help prepare me as best as possible. You know, she's been a registered nurse for 40 years. She knows all the tricks of healthcare and all that. So she was actually my biggest trainer, you know,
awesome.
more effective than our trainers for our team or our team doctors. So, but how is it for you? Like when you first started fighting in hockey, I'm assuming it was this junior league that you have the all-time pin record for by BC. You're crazy, man, you.
So it kind of started by accident for me. Like originally I was in a tryout. I was 17, I think, in junior B, playing for my hometown. Always wanted to play for this team. Wasn't really like, I was a bubble guy. Probably wouldn't have made the team. I was kind of on the bubble.
Yeah.
And then me and this 20-year-old just were getting after it. Like we just kept hitting each other and just kept like, I think we both ended up getting 10s and we're sitting in the box. And he's like, I'm going to kick your ass when we get out of here, blah, blah. And I was kind of like, what? Like, I've been in a fight.
You never fought before?
I'd been in a fight or two in minor hockey. Like I had one really good one in minor where we popped each other's cages off and actually had like a pretty good tilt. Wow. But I was like, you know, I was still about it, but I was like, oh my God, this is junior now, right?
Yeah,
so
it's a real deal.
I had a cage on still, right? This guy had a visor. So then next thing you know, I'm behind the net. We had got out. I'm playing. I go behind the net. He runs me, and then right away things are off. And then I ended up pumping this guy like pretty good. And it was weird because I don't know if I just wasn't as familiar with the game or what it was, but for some reason I felt like I was going to be in trouble. You know what I mean? So I ended up getting kicked out. I'm in the dressing room. I'm like, shit, man, am I going to get cut? Like, what the hell are the coaches going to say? Like, I just didn't know what sort of reaction I was going to get. I was in tryouts, so I was kind of worried. Yeah. And then the coach came in and he was like, what? That was awesome. Like, we didn't know you could do that. Like, you're on. Like, we'll sign you right now. And I'm just like, okay. What? Like, are you serious? Like, that's it? Like, that's what I had to do. And then from then on, I was like, okay, well, I'm about it. I'll keep doing it. And then I was kind of just a middleweight. You know, I just fought, you know, I wasn't really fighting the heavies. And then it kind of just grew. I remember fighting my first legit heavy and the coach was like, didn't want me to do it. And I was like, put me out, man, put me out. We were down like 6-2. I was like, put me out. It was Carson Bradshaw. He's super tough. And my coach is like, no, I'm not doing it. And I'm like, put me out. And he's like, really? Okay. He's like, hang on. Like, just hang on tight. Like, just be careful. And he puts me out and I ended up just walking through this guy, broke his nose, gave him 2 black eyes. And I was so surprised. I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I come off and everybody's all fired up. We ended up coming back and winning the game.
So that was, but was that wasn't the same league?
Yeah, that was in the same league. So, and then once that had happened, that kind of switched something in my head. And then I was like, okay, I really got something here. And then I really embraced the heavyweight role and kind of took it on.
But you must have put on some weight. Like, I doubt you were 200 pounds when you were 17.
I was probably around like 185 or something like that. Like I wasn't whatever. And then, and then kind of that happened. And then, you know, my dad he was okay with it. Like he was kind of timid at first, but then he was kind of, eventually you could see his chest come out a little bit. He's kind of proud. You know,
of course, his son's the toughest guy in the rink.
Yeah. And then it kind of happened where I got the title where I was the man in the league. And then that kind of like, and then, you know, kind of junior kind of ended. And then next thing you know, I end up in the States and they embraced it, man. Like it took a lot. My parents were proud of me because I got to where I did. You know, if you looked at all the kids that I played minor hockey with, you never would have picked me to go to the States and play in the Central League or play AA pro hockey. Like there's no way, man. And I did it the hard way. I went through the Federal and then to the SP, and then I didn't even play Junior A, man. I played Junior B because I was like, I'm not going to go to Junior A tryout. I'll probably get cut. Like I wasn't there up here. I wasn't there with I didn't get it yet.
The Central League is what I was really impressed with.
Yeah, like when I got called up into the Central League, I guess I would have been 22 or something like that. 23, I think. And when I got into the Central League, it was during the NHL lockout. So I got called up. Yeah, I got called up when everybody was coming down. Yeah. So that was like rowdy. And I went to the last place team in Tulsa. And there was no other fighters on the team. We were getting shit kicked every game. Wow. So it was like, they called me up. They're like, hey, this guy's about it. Let's bring him up. And then I think I just finished my last season. I had the 40 fighting majors. Yeah. So they knew I was down. I had a couple games. I had 3 fights in one game. I don't know how many times. And so they called me up. I got there. And then the first game I played, I'm in Wichita and they have Liaison, Bugard and Kip Brennan or something like that.
Come on,
and I'm in the dressing room before the game and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, and like in warm up, they had 3 legit heavies, right? Like legit.
Were they all riding the red line in warm up?
Yeah, like they're like, they didn't know who I was though. So they weren't even really like looking my way. And then
did you let them know though in warm up or did you wait? Did you chirp them in warm-up though?
I think I can't remember who did I fight that first game. I think it might have been.
I saw a picture with Bugard.
Yeah, I fought Bugard. I fought Lizon. I might have fought twice that game.
Man, are they
But
tough, man.
and then the next night, yeah, I remember it was like my first. It was like my first 2 games. I was getting after.
How
it
did
with
you
some
do?
tough guys. I did pretty good, man, considering
Did
like the
you?
nerves that I was feeling. I was actually in the dressing room before, and I was like I remember like I was spaced out. Like I was in my head and I was like, oh buddy, like I was nervous. I was like, my legs were kind of like, I was like really like moving my legs lots. And I guess the coach was talking to me, but I was like,
You didn't even hear him.
I didn't even hear him, man. I was just
You
like
were locked right in.
zoned into this like visualization of like what could go wrong, basically. Like, oh my God, what am I getting myself into? Trying to battle myself within,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And he goes, Amesbury, are you there? Amesbury, you okay? Hey. And I'm like, yeah. Well. He's like, okay, you're up. You start, whatever. I'm saying, oh my God, all right.
He said
like,
you're started?
No, I don't know if he started me, but I think he's just telling us the lines or something. But I was kind of like, oh, okay.
That would have been really nerve-wracking.
I wish I remembered who I fought that night, but it might have been Lizon. But yeah, so that was kind of where I started. And then that league was tough, man. I had lots of fights.
Why I was impressed.
Bugard, Kip Brennan, I fought twice. I fought Bugard twice. I fought Lizon twice in one game.
Those are really big guys, man.
Yeah, and like it was, and I'm glad I did. Like it was a good experience, and I think that's kind of where that was a new level, right? Like when I got there, it was like you can fight in junior and be tough. Like junior tough is junior tough. Like you can just grab guys and chainsaw people all junior and be okay. Cause you're not going to probably, you probably aren't going to get too hurt. When you start fighting these men, like these full grown, matured beasts, you got to be a little bit more careful. You can't just run and gun, especially if you're giving up 5 inches or 4 inches and 20 pounds or whatever, right? Like you can really get hurt. So I started to try and learn a little bit more of the technical side, and I was studying guys lots and just learning how to switch, getting my switching going really good, and so I could get inside on guys. And yeah, that's kind of where my technical side started, was probably in the Central League.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was very impressed with that. I was very impressed with the numbers. I'm a stat guy, so like I appreciate like certain things. You know what I mean? But one of the things I was mostly impressed with is that so it's hard sometimes for us, third, fourth liners, the tougher guys on the team. It's hard for us to give a good plus minus. You had a really good plus minus. Like it was pretty much even every year, but usually the third or fourth liners are like a minus 10, minus 15 even, just because, the line's hardly ever scoring, and then, you get scored on sometimes, so it'll be easy to be a -1 every game to be a third, fourth liner, right?
Yeah, no, it was like, I was honestly coached a really simple game when I got down there. I actually played defense when I was in junior.
Oh, right on.
And then same thing when I was in the Federal League, I played defense. And
really?
then
so you're a defenseman.
So then when I got called up to the SP in Columbus, I got down there and I go to the first practice, and I ended up they're like, okay, showing us the drills, and then I go line up with the D-man, and the coach is like, no, what are you doing, man? Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm a defenseman. And they're like, what? And they like the coaches go talk to each other, like, oh shit, like we thought he was a forward. And they're like, all right, well, you're a winger now, buddy. Like, and I was like, what? Like, are you kidding me? All right.
Have you ever played a game on the wing before?
Not really, man. Like minimal experience. So it was like a whole new can of worms for me. So they actually coached me into such a simple game. Like it was just so simplified, man. Like, it's really good because the way I learned, and I was probably the most coached player on every team. Okay. And like, just because of the fact that, I think you probably can relate too. When you're good enough to play in the one league and you're tough, then you move up to the next league.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Right when you start to figure it out, you're like, oh, I'm starting to be a player here. And then, now you're in the A. I'm sure it's happening. Right when you can play in the one league or you start getting better, boom, you move up now. Yeah. And now you're like,
gotta do it all over again.
Back at the bottom of the totem pole here. Like, being in those situations, it's like I feel like I got coached a lot more because they're like, hey, we got to get this guy up to snuff. And so I was able to learn a pretty simple game, and And coming back to kind of what you were talking about earlier is like helping the game and stuff. Like since this camp started and I've been really training for this, I've had people coming up to me asking me to come do clinics for their teams, and they're offering me money to come do sessions with their camps and stuff like that. So it's already happening where people are seeing it and they're like seeing how much I'm breaking it down, and maybe they want to learn this simple game that I've learned. So I'm probably going to do some camps this summer, and I've got some stuff organized where I'm already come back in the game now, man.
Sweet, bro.
Man, yeah.
Bro, I love it. I love it, man. I love hearing this type of stuff. I love it when people do well. I like to see people happy. We're very similar, dude. Buddy, I don't know. Like I had a blast this episode, bro. I had a really fun time. We've never met. We've never spoke. Yeah. We just became friends on social media. And this is great, bro. I'm really looking forward to seeing you. I think everyone's coming in on the 20th, and then we're all leaving on the 22nd.
Yeah, I'll be there. I think I'm driving.
Oh, you're gonna go early?
I'll be there on Thursday night. So I'll be there.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll be there.
And the event's on the Saturday, right?
Correct. Yeah. So
right.
I'm leaving on Thursday morning. So
okay, right on. Cool, bro. But yeah, man, I had to put you on the spot earlier because we have a couple pretty cool ideas, and we're definitely gonna need you back before before the event on the 21st, bro. So
100%. I'll be back,
down
man.
For that. Yeah, buddy, for sure.
I had a lot of fun,
dude, this was really cool, man. You gave really, really good insight. I love it when the tough guys can give good insight, man, because I'm telling you, we're a breed that's dying. This is something to relit the fire, and I couldn't think of better people than yourself and the others that are involved with this, bro. And I'm happy to be a part of it. We're all a big team with this, it being the first event, and I'm sure we'll have a great time Saturday night after the event. I'm looking forward to the future, right?
It's gonna be a blast, man. We're all gonna grow together, and like I say, man, I'm in this. I want to grow the sport just as much as you guys do, and we'll all grow together, man. Like we're all starting at the same spot, you know. That's right. It's pretty rad. It's pretty cool.
That's right, guys. So I'm just gonna go over it one more time. So guys, this event, Ice Warriors, that me and Daniel, ICEWARS International, that me and Daniel are a part of, me on the broadcast team, Daniel as I think they're calling the fighters Ice Warriors.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah. So Daniel, he was the first announced fighter, Ice Warrior in ICEWARS International, which takes place at the River Cree Resort and Casino, May 21st, which is a Saturday, my friends, in Enoch, Alberta. So guys, I'm really fired up. I hope everybody tunes it in. It's Fight TV that the pay-per-view is, right, Daniel?
Yeah, Fight TV. Up here in Canada, like you can get it on Shaw Cable and stuff. Like the app's already on there. If anybody wants to see, I'll post something. I posted it on Facebook already, like a little how-to video. I'll probably post it on my Instagram too. It's pretty simple. You go into the menu, go into the apps, go down to sports, and there's an app called Fight, FITE, and it's in your apps on Shaw Cable, probably on TELUS too, I would imagine, in your apps. And you can search Ice Wars on there. You can order it today. So get ahead of it. Order it now. Get ready.
Order it now. Get ready. Yeah. So, thank you for sharing that, my friend.
Yeah.
I like maybe there'll be a promotional team that they'll start, and we'll be putting our resumes in for that. But yeah, no, that's great, bro. And I want to thank you again for coming on the show. I can't wait till you come back. It will be before the 21st. Cool. Did you want to say anything before we signed off?
No, not too much, man. Just thanks for having me on. And thanks to AJ and everyone for the opportunity. Thanks to my sponsors. And I hope whatever happens from this event, I just hope to inspire some people to find their passion and chase it. And when you're passionate about something, it's really easy to get motivated in the morning to work your ass off. So that's where I'm at. And man, I'm ready to rock. Let's do it. Let's put on a show.
Awesome, bro. And will it ever be a show, man? I want to thank you again. And I want to thank the listeners for tuning in to another episode of The Sheriff featuring special guest Daniel Amesbury, aka Diamond Hands. We had a great time, and we're going to sign off now, guys. Woo!